So at Wondanya, we've already drilled out 3 kilometres of mineralisation. And the mineralisation has been really strong for manganese and also for iron, but we also purchased a tenement to the south. And with that purchase, there was a number of outcrops of manganese and iron as well. We took samples of those. And there's a continuous outcrop about 400 metres extent off our existing 3 kilometres. So already our 3 kilometres mineralisation goes to 3.4 kilometres. South of that, there's about 1.8 kilometres of isolated outcrops of manganese and iron. So it already demonstrates that the full mineral system could be at least 5 kilometres long. But there's also 4 kilometres of iron mineralisation outcropping above that. So the whole system's about 9 kilometres long. So we've only drilled 3 kilometres of that, so a third of that mineralisation. So, there's probably still quite a bit more mineralisation that we'll drill into next year. So the rock chip samples that we've taken from Wondanya South, for the manganese, they range between 50 and 60% manganese. What we did find at Wondanya over that 3 kilometres of strike that we have already drilled, we got very similar grade ranges, again between that 50 and 60% manganese at surface. When we drilled those, we got several metres at around 30%. But within that, there's actually a high grade zone that's around 40% as well. So 50%, 60% manganese rock chips will probably translate to around 30 to 40% when we go and drill it. The iron ore grades, we're getting over 66% iron in some of these rock chip samples. So very high, extraordinarily high rock chip samples for iron. We got very similar results up at Wondanya, that 3 kilometres of strike. It was around 62 to 64%. And when we drilled that, we were able to deliver 10 to 15 metre thick intervals at around 60% iron content. So the translation roughly is 66% at surface. We'll probably still equate to around 60% once we drill it. So 2025 has been a really busy year for Black Canyon. We drilled out 3 kilometres of mineralisation. Now, in order for us to access the tenement to the south, what we need to do is another heritage survey. Once that heritage survey is completed, it'll happen over March and April, so early in 2026, and then we'll get access to that sunken ground. We've got about 5,000 metres of drilling planned down through there as well. So it's a really exciting drill target. There's evidence of mineralisation at surface. If it's the same stratigraphy, so the same geological horizons that we have encountered already north in the Wondanya project, then we'll be so excited to go and drill some more iron and manganese mineralisation down there. So north of the Wondanya mineralisation that we have drilled, so this 3 kilometres that we have drilled in 2025, there's about 4 kilometres of iron mineralisation that we've noted out there as well. So we've already completed a heritage survey there. So early next year, I've booked a rig to start in April, and we'll complete the infill on the 3 kilometres that we have already drilled, just to reduce that drill spacing down to about 50 metre drill lines. And to the north, we've got quite a lot of drill fences planned up there to the north, which will cover probably 1 to 2 kilometres initially before we actually go to the full 4 kilometres. And to the east, I've probably extended the drill lines another 500 metres, so there's probably more expansion drilling on the eastern side as well. So in summary, rig rolls up in April. We'll be doing infill drilling. It's probably about 10,000 metres of drilling there. And then the northern and eastern extensions, we're looking at about 5,000 metres of RC drilling to be completed there. And then we'll put the rig down in south. So hopefully everything will be ready down in the southern part of Wondanya South. And we'll put in 5,000 metres there. So April, May, June, there'll be quite a lot of drilling. Now we're planning about 20,000 metres of RC drilling. So I think it'll be really exciting because the mineralisation that we have found at Wondanya has been game changing for the company. So hopefully we can grow this mineralisation footprint even further.